Hi, we're the Clark family, and we've sold our house and packed up our lives and moved to Galicia in northern Spain.
So follow us as we start our new lives, learn new skills, join a new community and try to live a more sustainable life.
Welcome back to Galicia, where we've had the most fantastic couple of weeks weather-wise. It's been lovely and sunny during the day, crisp in the morning, but come 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we've had temperatures up to 20 degrees. It's been absolutely fantastic, and spring seems to well and truly have sprung, with flowers appearing everywhere, all over the land, all over the property. Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. However, winter is not done with us yet, and this last couple of days, it's really reminded us that not spring yet, and winter's still got a bit of a bite in its tail. We've had two new additions to the household in the form of two barn cats. Our neighbour very kindly has given us two cats after we mentioned that we were looking to purchase a couple of cats. We've got quite a lot of mice and voles knocking around the fields, so we just wanted to keep on top of that before they start infesting the property and the vegetables and stuff that we're growing. So yeah, here they are. The tabby cat is called Drax, and the black cat is called Gamora. Being barn cats, these pair are as close to feral as you're going to get. We tried a couple of times to go and fetch them. First time our attempt was with cardboard boxes, and we managed to get one in a cardboard box, and he just bust his way straight out of it. So the second time we went down, we took one of our dog crates down and managed to get these pair into the dog crates, which turned out to be fun as well, as soon as you put your fingers inside the crate to lift it up, they immediately attacked you. So we ended up putting poles through the crates to be able to lift it up, a sort of Cleopatra style, and brought them home. And as you can see, they're much more friendly now. Scarlett, our daughter, spent a lot of time with them, getting to know them. I've been very patient with them, and they're going to be a great asset. Morning, it's a lovely sunny Sunday morning here in Galicia. We dropped the family off at the airport yesterday, and one thing we did notice on the way, there was lots and lots of people out in their garden. So we've had a few days off because the family's been here. So it's time to get stuck in again. I don't think this is something we've talked about before. We may have touched on it briefly, but when we were having our compost meltdown last year, we decided we were going to sow some green manure because we didn't think we'd be able to get enough compost, which we did. I think it was mid-October we sowed it, whatever the word is, and you can see the results behind me. It was a mixture of rye grasses and peas and beans, and you can see down the bottom here that it's taken really well. Not so well at the top here, this is mainly grass, but there is a bit in here, but it's mainly grass. So what we need to do, we need to terminate this now and get it in the ground, because shortly it's going to be time to get some seedlings in. We've also been donated some coles, the tall cabbages that you see in almost every garden here in Galicia, and we want to get them in the ground as well, along with some strawberries which somebody's given us as well. So we want to get them in the ground. So that's what I'm going to do. There's a couple of ways of terminating this green manure. You can actually go along and physically break the stalks. So you're basically cutting the supply off from the roots to the main body of the plant, which you do with a large board, which you'd sort of walk along and tread on it and snap them off. Probably should have done that 3 or 4 weeks ago, and we haven't. So I'm going to do something that I've also seen somebody do, is go over it with the lawnmower, not the ride-on one, just the push-along lawnmower, with the blade lifted up slightly, just to chop it off I'm going to see how that's going to go. We'll give that a go, see if that's going to get us the desired result. So I've terminated the green manure, sort of mushed it up or mulched it up with the lawnmower. It's not an ideal way of doing it, but I think you can see this is the result. Quite a bit of grass mixed in it, because it's a bit of a patchy results, to be fair. But it does smell quite. You can smell a bit of grass, but there's a overriding smell of beans and peas in there. So it actually smells quite nice. So as it's got so much grass in here, I think what I'm going to do is get some black plastic, and tarp all this area down for a few weeks, just to suppress the grass that you can see. Where we're going? Oh, there we go. There's quite a bit of grass up this top area, less so towards the bottom. So I'm going to tarp that over and see if we can kill it off. We're going to start planting some seeds in the next couple of days. So by the time they've come up and are ready to go out, hopefully the grass will be killed off, and the green manure will be well rotted into the ground. Okay, so clearly we've run out of plastic to to cover this over. We're just trying to use up what we've found laying around the house. The large piece of plastic at the bottom was up in the pigsty. This smaller rectangle at the front here, that's something we bought from the UK, which was just knocking around in my garage for some reason. It's a damp-proof membrane. We also had these plastic. You see this everywhere. This dual-sided plastic here. So it's white on one side and black on the other. I think they use it for wrapping the hay bales up when they cut the grass to store it over the winter. Yeah, you see it everywhere, and our local agricultural cooperatives sell it on massive rolls. So I was hoping to be able to use this, but it's got more holes in it than I think it's worth trying to pin down. I've only got a limited amount of pegs to pin this down. So we'll nip up to the cooperative tomorrow or later on in the week and get some and get the rest covered over. See if we can stop this growing and get it mulched down, ready to get the seeds in. Just one point, these bags here, well, these bits of plastic here are actually massive bags, and I can't think what would come in a bag so large other than a tree. So I'm wondering, when the oak wood at the top there was replanted after it was felled about 20 years ago, whether these were the bags that the trees came in, and if so, it just shows you how long plastic lasts in the ground. These were buried with just little ends sticking up, and we've sort of tugged at the end and revealed a massive amount of plastic. So I think they were buried up there just to get rid of them. But if that's the case, and it's been 20 years, it just shows you, you know, they've not degraded at all, really. Only the parts which are exposed to sunlight have gone brittle. The rest of it is fine. But 20 years on, if that is actually the case, just something to think about, really. Okay, so despite what we said about using existing plastic, we went down to the cooperative to buy some new plastic, and it just seemed easier to buy a section of plastic which was sort of equal to the width and sort of equal to the length, and just do it in a one. So that's what we've done. I hope you enjoyed that little bit of comedy. We thought we were going to get blown away at a couple of points, but it's all in.
We had a small emergency this morning. It was almost like polytunnel plastic 2.0, when 1 second the plastic's still down in the wind, and then the next second the bottom right hand corner had ripped up and it was flying everywhere. So Adam and I did another mad dash in the chucking it down rain and the most incredible wind, and we managed to get it back down. And as you can see, we've put a load of blocks and some pallets on it trying to hold it, and I've just watched one of the pallets kind of surf on the plastic. It's like it's making plastic waves, and one of the pallets just surfed along. So I'm not going to film this next bit because, well, I don't think that the tripod will stay stood up for a start, but I think I'm going to have to go and pop some more bricks on there and try and hold it down, because I'm not sure that's going to hold much longer. God. I don't know if you can hear me, but I've managed to get some bricks down there to try and get his plastic held down a bit better. The wind's still crazy, but I was actually too slow. By the time I come down here, this entire edge had all completely lifted in that corner, so now I'm going to have to try and go along and put these pins back in, but it kind of feels a bit pointless now, because I know that they're all just going to pop back out again, but I need to do something. I'm not strong enough to go and get any more bricks. It's absolutely worn me out. So Adam's in a Spanish lesson at the minute. When he comes out, I'll send him down and he can do a bit more, but hopefully for now it'll stay down. But I tell you, after the last couple of weeks of fairly nice weather and a bit of rain but not really much wind, we sort of had got our hopes up that winter had ended in Galicia, but we were wrong.
So can you tell the lovely viewers what you're up to at the minute?
I am planting some cols or collis that have been kindly donated to us by a neighbour that lives nearby and that I go to a painting class with. They're a traditional Galician cauliflower. They grow quite tall. They're
cabbage or a cauliflower?
I think they're a cabbage, but they call them a col. And you can eat the leaves from them as they grow in, and then when they grow sort of this sort of tall, then they get a head on them that you also eat. And you take that head and then it grows again for another year, and then you get the leaves and you get the head off it another year, and then I think you let it go to seed, and then you start the process again for another 3 years. But so she's given us these. I think we had about 30 of them obviously come out of the ground here. I've been advised to plant them this deep so as to protect them from the wind, because we get quite a lot of wind here. So here I am. This is a 20-metre long bed that we've put cardboard down on. We have then topped that off with manure that was kindly donated to us by our neighbour that's behind us. It's got the cow field. On top of that, we've put the last actually of our Eco Celta compost that we bought last October. And I'm having to dig down underneath the compost, through the cardboard, into the soil below, where I am planting them and getting on with it.
Why have you put the compost down? Just for people who, not the compost, the cardboard down for people who have not watched our videos before?
So we are doing no dig, even though obviously I am now having to dig. So we've not upset any of the life that's going on underneath here. So underneath this cardboard is exactly what's here, is grass and some green manure that we planted last year. The cardboard is down to try and suppress the grass. So not necessarily, it will kill it, but it will also mulch it and it will compost it underneath the compost. And we get all the nutrients then that will feed the plants that we grow on top. Did I explain that very well?
Yeah, it's fine. It's all good.
Excellent.
I'm sure everybody will understand.
I'm sure you'll have a little asterisk to put on top of the screen for any information that I missed, as I inevitably have.
Thank you very much. That was very informative.
I'm very happy to help. We're having to get this in super fast because it's about 20 degrees at the minute, as I'm sure you can tell, because Adam has conveniently placed himself in a way where I can't see him. But as of tomorrow, we're due 10 days worth of rain. So these floppy collars, hopefully should cheer up a little bit when they get very rained on.
So we've used all the compost up that we bought, and this is our first barrow of our own made compost that we laboured over when we first moved into the house.
Some of us laboured over it more than others because some of us turned it and others didn't.
We've had it in the compost heap all winter. Emma turned it about a month ago, and here we are. It's going onto the land, our own compost, and yeah, it's lovely, and it smells like compost. It doesn't smell like rotting vegetables or anything out of the kitchen, or we had some sheep / goat poo in there as well, but it just smells like compost now, and it looks lovely. It's a bit twiggy, but we're going to put some strawberries in here, so I don't think that matters too much. Strawberries donated to us by one of our neighbours again. After the little meltdown we had last October about sourcing compost, I think we just proved to ourselves what you can actually do.
You stood the wrong side of me.
Are we the wrong side? Is it normally the way around?
I think so.
This might be the unique selling point, the USP we're looking for. By swapping around, you can be Ant and I'll be Deck, instead of me being Ant and you being Deck.
Let me tell you, I was always Ant.
Was she?
Yeah, he's the better looking one.
Is he? Which one is he?
The short one.
They're both short.
Oh no, or is Ant the ugly tall one?
I don't know. So we're on with what seems like another momentous occasion for us, the big seed plant. It's mid-February, or just after mid-February, and we've ordered all our seeds. They've been delivered. We've sorted them out into months when they've got to be planted, and we've got all the February ones down here. We might even be a little late with some of these, but they're going in today and we'll see how we go. Yeah. Feels like I say, a momentous occasion. It's not the first seeds we've planted. As you know, we've done all right over the winter with these lettuces and onions. We're inundated with lettuces at the minute, and the onions are coming on nicely. But now we're looking for the good stuff, the tomatoes and the peppers, and those sort of things to go into the greenhouse, and then the stuff to go outside into the bigger garden. So Amazon, we're planting some peppers here. Got a few varieties. Got some padron peppers. Well, padron's not too far away from here. The place where they originally come from, the padron pepper. Got some sweet peppers in there and some other peppers. We use a lot of peppers for cooking, etc. And we're using these trays. We've mentioned these before. Got these trays from Leroy Merlin, which is sort of a DIY store located all over. We were mindful that we didn't want to go and buy like cheap plastic trays, so we bought these. Are a little bit more expensive, but they're quite substantial, so that it's not sort of single-use plastic. We're hoping we're going to get several years use out of these, rather than the ones with the really soft bottoms just here. You can use a pencil to just push in the bottom and push the plug out for when you're planting on. So we use them on the lettuces that I've just showed you up in the garden, up in the polytunnel there. So yeah, that's the plan with these. Yeah, it's all good. So we're just going to have a quick chat about our thought process about what seeds we're planting this year.
All of them.
Yeah, about all the seeds. We're planting all the seeds. It seems that way with the amount we've spent on them and the amount of packets that keep turning up in the post. However, there is a little bit of logic behind it. We've first started out by making a list of everything we eat during the week, or over 2 weeks, and basically we're trying to replicate that, aren't we?
Yeah, and it was a surprising amount of fruit and veg, to be fair, what we do eat, and an interesting mix as well. So yeah, that's what we're aiming to be able to do. Really.
Yeah, we're trying to replicate it. And as regards to how much we need to plant in order to supply us with that amount of food throughout the year, it's a bit of a finger in the air time. You can Google your requirements each week. But there's so many different answers. So I guess it's going to be one of those things where we learn by experience. We learn by our mistakes. So what we're doing is planting shed loads of everything, and hopefully we'll have enough.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, you don't even know when you're planting seeds, like with things like lettuces, the seeds are so tiny that in each of the little plugs on the trays, you kind of put 2 seeds, and neither of them might germinate. They both might germinate, and it's knowing that really as well, isn't it, Bill?
Yeah, I mean the two seed in a what do you call them?
A plug.
In a plug is a real quandary for us, isn't it? Because I don't know if you guys fall into this trap, if you've ever sown any seeds. We feel really bad about throwing the weakest one away. So the theory is you plant 2 or 3 seeds in each plug, and then when they grow you thin them out, and you thin out the weakest ones and you throw them away. However, we never do. We always plant all, say you planted 3 and all 3 come up, we always plant all 3. or we take them out of the plug and then transplant them into another one, because we feel so bad about throwing them away.
We're just kind of like rooting for the little guy kind of people, aren't we?
Yeah, it is, yeah. it's as if he's put the energy into growing and being alive, and now you're just tossing him aside.
Yeah, he's equally as good as the other one, just because he's a little bit smaller.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's probably a British thing, rooting for the underdog, maybe. Anyway, that's our issue, not yours. But we're going to have to overcome that, and yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to pan out when we have to start harvesting chickens, if we can't harvest
the little guy. Maybe the big chicken's going to have to go first.
Maybe, yeah, okay. Yeah, if we can't chuck away lettuce, how are we going to harvest chickens?
I'm going to put this out there, and I apologise to all the vegans or the vegetarians that are watching, but chicken tastes a lot nicer than lettuce.
There is that. So yeah, so that's really our very brief thought process on what we're planting and when.
Yeah, it's also worth talking about the fact that we're planting a lot more squash and pumpkins than we actually would normally eat.
Yeah.
Because we've got, so you've seen us with the battling with a big sheet of plastic for the patch where we're actually planning on planting all of the seeds for the things that we eat regularly this year, and we've got a whole load more land, and actually I think we're being quite conservative in what we're planting. I personally think that we're not going to be planting enough, and that we're going to still end up buying stuff. So we've got another similar sort of size patch that's next to it that we're going to plant a load of squash and pumpkins, and I know that's the same bracket, because they are ground roamers and they will take over from the grass that's growing there.
Yeah, they'll just block the light out to the grass.
Yeah,
and kill that grass
their
off.
Their roots will take over from the grass roots, and we're going to use growing squash on that patch to sort of fertilise it and get it cleared ready for us to actually use it for
next year.
Other things next year. Although there's quite a few pumpkin cakes and things like I'd quite like to try, so that's alright, we can clear the next patch with pumpkins the year after. So
yeah, I think we'll do the same with potatoes as well, because apparently potatoes are really good for clearing sort of virgin ground as well. We have lots of this sort of couch grass in here, so we're hoping by planting the ground covering squashes and the ground covering potatoes will alleviate ourselves the problems of the couch grass to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And then over the winter, if we perhaps put some more green manure on again, hopefully it'll grow better than it did this year. And we'll be going to next spring firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Seems a bit strange talking about next spring when we've not even got into this spring yet. But
well, I say we've not even got into this spring yet. Last week, it very much felt like we were into spring because it was sort of 20 degrees. All of my daffodils on the front have all started coming out. The plum trees is in full bloom. And it was t-shirt weather, and it was incredible.
Oh, there's loads of cherry blossoms out everywhere as well.
Cherry blossom everywhere. So
and the mimosa trees, they're lovely. Your lovely yellow trees, they're out everywhere.
Yeah. So spring very much had sprung. But as you have just watched with the video with the plastic, winter arrived back again. So yeah, talking about next spring is quite weird. But
yeah, I think we've got 10 days of, well, at least 10 days looking on the future forecast of heavy rain, potentially stronger winds and reduced temperatures overnight. We're not going to have a frost, I don't think, but we might get down to 4 degrees or something. So yeah, quite a contrast to what we've been having of late.
So you'll probably see us doing quite a few indoor jobs this week and next, just to keep out of it. Cheers.